Night arrives softly in the rainforest, not like a curtain dropping, but like a blanket being laid, slowly, carefully, over leaves, vines, and warm bark. The air is thick with quiet life. Somewhere, water moves in a thin stream that sounds like it's whispering to itself. Above it, fog drifts between tree trunks like a shy guest who doesn't want to interrupt. Moonlight doesn't shine here the way it does in open places. It filters down in gentle patches, landing on palm fronds and damp moss, turning everything into a softer version of itself. The forest feels calmer at night, not empty, just less busy, as if even the insects are lowering their voices out of respect for bedtime. Sometimes it feels like the trees are practicing deep breathing. Honestly, they're better at it than most of us. Welcome to sleepy nature sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. If this place feels peaceful, you're always welcome back. No membership card required, only your presence. Imagine a small, quiet campfire somewhere deep in the trees, where familiar listeners return without fanfare, just to sit with the night and let it be gentle. And if you'd like to support the channel, it helps us keep the night lights low and the nature facts cozy, so these slow stories can keep finding their way to you, again and again, like the steady return of evening. Now, let's drift deeper into the rainforest, not with footsteps that snap twigs, but with soft attention. Tonight's story belongs to a creature so small, it feels almost like a secret the forest keeps tucked in its sleeves. The Pygmy Marmoset, the world's smallest monkey, light enough to cling to a tree trunk like a leaf that decided to become curious. It lives in the upper layers of the forest where the air is warm and the branches feel like winding hallways. Its hands are tiny and clever. Its eyes are bright and gentle. And its whole vibe is quietly iconic. We'll follow its sleepy facts the way you might follow a slow stream through the trees. Unhurried, soothing, and just curious enough to keep your mind from wandering back to tomorrow's to-do list. So let your breathing slow with the forest, in and out. Let the humid night air soften your thoughts. Let the leaves above you hush the world. And as we begin, we'll move gently through moonlit canopy, warm bark, and the tiny, tender life of a monkey small enough to fit inside the calm of your palm. Somewhere high in the rainforest, leaves overlap like soft shingles on a quiet roof. They hold pockets of darkness between them, and in those pockets, the night feels cooler, gentler, like the forest has lowered its voice on purpose. A faint breeze moves through the canopy, not pushing, not insisting, just passing through as if it's practicing patience. Below, the world is layered. Vines hang in slow curves. Bark looks textured and ancient, like it has been collecting moonlight for a very long time. Far off, a stream murmurs the same sentence again and again, the kind of sentence that doesn't need an ending. And in a place like this, a question can arrive without making a fuss. Not a big question, not a cosmic one. Just a small, nature-rooted wondering that fits the forest the way a droplet fits a leaf. Here it is. What does the rainforest make space for, especially when something is very small? Because the rainforest is full, so full of plants, sounds, humidity, life in every layer. And yet it still makes room for moss to spread quietly across stone, room for insects to trace tiny routes along stems, room for frogs to rest in the glossy cup of a leaf, like a little green comma in the sentence of the night, and room for a pygmy marmoset, so small that it almost seems like the forest's private joke. A monkey that can cling to a trunk like a curious leaf, a creature whose whole existence feels like proof that tiny is not the same thing as insignificant. The rainforest doesn't hand out special permission slips. It doesn't say, "Congratulations, you may now belong." It simply grows in a way that creates niches, gentle gaps, hidden corridors, warm pockets of air, and safe, leafy cover where a small body can rest. If you've ever felt the relief of finding a quiet corner in a busy place, a seat by the window, a calm room, a spot where you don't have to perform, then you understand the feeling of space being made for you. The rainforest does that, but without the awkward small talk. And the pygmy marmoset, in its tiny, tidy way, takes up that space beautifully. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be large. It simply fits. There's a faintly humorous thought hiding here too. Sometimes the smallest creature in the room has the biggest opinions. If you've ever met a chihuahua, you already know this principle. The rainforest, thankfully, handles it with grace. So we don't have to answer the question tonight. We can just hold it gently, like a warm cup in both hands. What does the rainforest make space for? Maybe it makes space for softness, for quiet lives, for small things that move slowly and belong completely. And as we drift onward, following the tiny monkey through the canopy's calm, we'll let that question float beside us, light as mist, patient as leaves, and just curious enough to keep the mind from wandering too far from sleep. The rainforest at night doesn't feel dark so much as deep. Darkness gathers in layers, under leaves, behind vines, inside the folds of bark, until the whole world looks softly tucked in. The air stays warm, but not heavy. It carries the gentle scent of wet wood, sweet sap, and soil that has been quietly doing its job for centuries. Above you, the canopy forms a ceiling of overlapping green, though at night it becomes a ceiling of silhouettes. Moonlight filters through in small, polite patches, never too bright, never too sharp. It lands on a palm frond and rests there. It slips onto a mossy trunk and stays a while. It touches the surface of a narrow stream and turns it into a ribbon of dim silver. Rainforest sound is different after sunset. It doesn't go silent. It just becomes more rhythmic. Insects stitch the air with soft pulses. Frogs call in rounded notes that feel like they were designed for lullabies. Somewhere, water continues its quiet whisper, repeating the same calm phrase again and again. The whole place feels like a room filled with tiny, living metronomes, all keeping time gently. This is the world of the pygmy marmoset, most often in the Amazon basin. In forests braided with rivers, flooded edges, and lush growth that never seems to run out of textures. Life here stacks itself vertically, roots and leaf litter below, trunks and vines in the middle, branches and canopy above. The pygmy marmoset belongs to the higher layers, where trunks become roads and vines become handrails. And if you're wondering how something so small manages in such a big, busy place, the answer is the forest is built for smallness. It offers hidden roots. It offers cover. It offers tiny pockets of food and warmth and rest that larger animals might never even notice. The rainforest doesn't rush. It doesn't insist on progress. It grows slowly, patiently, with the confidence of something that has nowhere else to be. Even the stream sounds unbothered, like it's not trying to impress anyone. If this forest had a personality, it would be the friend who always speaks softly, but somehow controls the entire vibe of the room. No effort, just presence. So tonight, we move the same way. We don't sprint through facts. We don't grab for excitement. We let the setting do what it does best. Hold us gently. Breathe in and out. Let the canopy feel like a blanket above you. Let the humid air soften your thoughts. And when you're ready, we'll drift closer to the bark-lined pathways where a tiny monkey, small as a whisper, makes its quiet home. At first, you may not see it. The trunk looks like a trunk, textured, ridged, shaded. The vines look like vines, looped, patient. The leaves look like leaves, still, overlapping, quietly breathing. And then, with the gentlest shift, the Pygmy Marmoset appears. Like the forest has decided to reveal one of its smallest secrets. It is tiny, not tiny for a monkey. Tiny in a way that makes your brain pause, like it's double-checking the scale. A little face framed in soft fur, bright eyes that reflect dim light, a body light enough to cling to bark without bending the world around it. It moves slowly when it wants to, then pauses, then moves again, as if it understands that stillness is a perfectly valid lifestyle. Pygmy marmosets are among the smallest monkeys on Earth, and they live in the upper layers of tropical forests, often near rivers and flooded areas. Their size allows them to use spaces that larger animals pass by: thin branches, narrow gaps, little bark ledges that feel like private balconies. And the way they hold on to trees is especially charming. They don't sit on branches like many monkeys do. They cling upright, close to trunks, like a tiny fuzzy climber who has decided gravity is merely a suggestion. There's something calming about watching a creature that small move through a huge environment without panic. It doesn't try to become bigger. It doesn't pretend it's something else. It simply fits. It uses what the forest offers: texture, cover, shadow, warmth. If you've ever felt the comfort of fitting into a quiet corner, curling into a blanket, sinking into a soft chair, you'll understand the Pygmy marmoset's gift. It belongs in the bark's grooves, in the canopy's dim light, in the hush between leaves. And yes, it is also objectively adorable. Not in a loud way. In a please lower your voice, I'm small way. The rainforest seems to take it seriously, which is both respectful and faintly funny. Imagine being that tiny and still carrying yourself like a true professional. If Pygmy marmosets had business cards, they would read canopy specialist, sap enthusiast, part-time leaf listener. Tonight, we'll keep our attention soft. We'll follow this tiny monkey without chasing it. We'll notice details the way moonlight notices bark, gently, without grabbing. Breathe in and out, and let your thoughts become small for a while too, light enough to cling to calm and quiet enough to rest. One of the sweetest things about pygmy marmosets is how practical they are. Their smallness is not just a cute feature, it's an entire design philosophy. And nowhere is that clearer than in their hands and feet. When you imagine a monkey, you might picture flat nails and branch-swinging grace. But pygmy marmosets are different. Their fingers and toes end in gentle, curved claws, more like a tiny climber's equipment than a typical monkey manicure. These claws help them cling to vertical trunks with ease, holding steady on bark the way a sticker holds to glass. If you've ever worn socks on a slippery floor and wished you had better grip, you already understand the value of good traction. The pygmy marmoset, fortunately, came prepared. Their hands are small, nimble, and beautifully expressive. They touch bark as if reading it. They hold onto vine edges and branch seams like someone testing fabric with their fingertips. They move carefully, not because they're nervous, but because careful movement is efficient, and efficiency is the rainforest's quiet love language. There's gentle science behind this. Pygmy marmosets spend a lot of time clinging to tree trunks, especially when feeding on sap. Claws make that lifestyle smoother. They don't need to perform big leaps. They don't need dramatic swings. They need steady contact, calm balance, and the ability to stay close to the trunk like it's a comfortable wall in a familiar hallway. And the bark itself becomes part of their world. Rough patches offer grip. Grooves offer footholds. Old scars in the wood become little steps. A trunk isn't just a tree. It's a textured landscape full of tiny routes that only a very small body would consider normal travel. It's a soothing thought, isn't it? That what looks like an ordinary surface can become a whole world when you're small enough to notice the details. Also, there's something faintly funny about how serious their climbing looks. They cling with such calm dedication, as if they're doing a job. Like, yes, I will be here. Yes, I will remain vertical. Yes, I am very busy being tiny. If you find yourself smiling, let it be a soft smile, like a leaf shifting in a breeze. Tonight, we don't need speed. We don't need spectacle. We let the pygmy marmoset show us something gentler, how to hold on without strain, how to move without fuss, how to rest in steady contact with what supports you. Breathe in and out. Let your body feel the support beneath you. Let your thoughts cling lightly to calm. And when you're ready, we'll drift toward the pygmy marmoset's favorite slow snack, one that glows like honey in dim light. If the rainforest had a pantry, it wouldn't be filled with loud colors and dramatic labels. It would be filled with quiet, reliable things, steady offerings that don't demand excitement. Tree sap is one of those offerings. In the warm hush of night, sap can look like a tiny amber bead where bark has been gently opened. It glints softly when moonlight finds it, then settles back into shadow. It doesn't rush. It simply is. Slow, sweet, and patient. Pygmy marmosets are known for feeding on tree gums and sap, returning to certain trees again and again, like they have a favorite corner store. It's not a chaotic feast. It's more like a calm routine, visiting familiar trunks, pausing, licking small amounts, moving on with quiet satisfaction. There's a gentle science to it. Sap is a dependable food source. And in a rainforest where many foods appear and disappear with seasons and cycles, Dependable is a kind of comfort. Trees continue their slow internal work, and marmosets simply share in the result, like borrowing warmth from a sunlit rock, except the rock is a living trunk and the warmth is sweetness. The scene is surprisingly peaceful. A tiny monkey clinging upright to bark, moving its head in small, careful motions, taking slow tastes the way someone sips tea. No rush, no dramatic chewing, just the steady rhythm of a creature doing what it was shaped to do. And yes, if you're thinking, so their midnight snack is basically tree syrup, you're not wrong. It's like the forest invented a dessert, then said, please enjoy it quietly. If Pygmy Marmosets hosted a cafe, the menu would be one item, sap, served fresh, no substitutions. And somehow it would still have regulars. As you imagine this slow feeding, notice how it naturally slows you down too. The body relaxes when it watches calm routine. The mind softens when it stops expecting surprise. Sap doesn't leap out of the tree. It waits. The marmoset doesn't demand it faster. It matches the pace. That's the lullaby here, matching the pace of something steady. So let your breathing become steady too. In and out. Let your thoughts move slowly, like sap moving beneath bark. Let them become fewer, thicker, quieter. Let the night feel warm and held. And as we drift onward, we'll follow the Pygmy Marmoset to the trees it returns to. Special trunks that become familiar, like bedtime corners in a forest home. Not every tree becomes important in the same way. Some trees are simply part of the scenery, tall, patient, quietly photosynthesizing like professionals who never ask for compliments. But for Pygmy Marmosets, certain trees become something more. They become gum trees, trusted places where sap and gum can be found again and again, like the forest's version of a reliable snack shelf. The idea of favorite trees is strangely comforting. It suggests routine. It suggests familiarity. It suggests that even in a vast rainforest, a tiny creature can have a few places that feel like home base, a trunk that fits their grip perfectly, a bark texture they recognize, a spot where the evening feels predictable. Pygmy marmosets often return to feeding sites, visiting them regularly. Over time, these trees become part of their mental map, not an abstract chart, just a felt knowledge. This trunk, this height, this side, this quiet corner of the canopy where the air stays warm and the world stays gentle, and the forest, in its calm way, allows it. Trees continue their slow internal flow. Gum forms, sap beads. The marmoset arrives, tastes, rests, and moves along. It's not a dramatic relationship. It's a quiet agreement. The tree does not announce its generosity. The marmoset does not behave like it's owed anything. There's just a soft exchange. The tree offers small sweetness. The marmoset receives it with calm attention. If you listen closely, you can almost feel how repetitive this is, in the best way. Return. Taste. Pause. Return again another time. The rhythm itself becomes soothing, like the same gentle song played every night until your mind recognizes it as a signal to relax. There's a feather-light humor in imagining how serious these tiny routines might feel to a Pygmy marmoset. Like, yes, this is my tree. This is my schedule. I am very committed to my sap-based lifestyle. It's quiet dedication, but dedication nonetheless. And perhaps that's part of the lesson of the gum trees. In a world that can feel too large, Routine makes a small life feel steady. Familiar places soften the mind. Repetition becomes comfort instead of boredom. So tonight, as we rest here in imagination, let yourself have a gum tree too, a familiar anchor. Maybe it's the sound of the story. Maybe it's the weight of your blanket. Maybe it's the simple return to your breath, in and out. The rainforest makes space for small lives by offering familiar corners and gentle routines. And you tonight can make space for rest the same way, by returning quietly to what feels safe. On a tree trunk in the moon-dim canopy, the bark looks like a quiet map. Ridges, seams, small scars that have healed into smooth lines. The Pygmy Marmoset clings there with calm certainty, as if the trunk is not a wall at all, but a familiar hallway. It pauses, it breathes, it listens to the rainforest's soft background music. Then it begins one of its most patient rituals, not fast, not dramatic, just slow, steady work, using small, specialized teeth to gently open the bark in a way that invites sap to appear later, like a tiny promise the tree will keep. The movement is precise, almost tidy. It's the kind of motion that makes you feel calmer simply by watching it, because nothing about it asks you to tense up. There's a gentle science tucked inside this quiet moment. Pygmy marmosets are adapted for gum feeding. Their teeth help them make small openings in bark, and the tree's natural flow does the rest over time. It's a partnership with patience built into it. No rushing the sweetness, no demanding the forest hurry. And the thing is, the marmoset looks very professional about it, like it's clocking in for a night shift at the world's smallest woodworking studio. If it had a little tool belt, it would be adorable, but also somehow convincing. Yes, it would say, without speaking, I am doing my sap preparations. The rainforest, of course, stays unbothered. Leaves don't gasp. Vines don't comment. The stream below continues murmuring its slow sentence. Everything holds the tone, calm. When the marmoset pauses, it rests its small hands against the bark as if checking in with the tree. It doesn't look impatient. It looks like it understands the rhythm of slow rewards. It returns to the same trunks on different nights, letting time do its gentle work in between. And there's something soothing about that idea, preparing a comfort, then leaving it alone until it's ready. No hovering, no overthinking, just trust. If you've ever set tea to steep and actually waited, you already know this rare and noble feeling. So tonight, borrow the marmoset's patience. Let your thoughts stop trying to open every door at once. Let them do less. Let them rest. In and out. The tree holds its quiet sweetness beneath the bark. The little monkey holds its steady routine. And you can hold nothing at all for a while, letting your mind soften. Letting your breathing become the only rhythm you follow. Slow work, soft reward, night making space for small, patient things. In the rainforest, family doesn't always mean a big, obvious gathering. Sometimes it means a small cluster of warm bodies tucked into the safest part of the canopy, close enough to share heat, close enough to share calm. Pygmy marmosets often live in little family groups, moving through their world together like a gentle traveling quilt. You might see them near one another on a trunk, tiny shapes spaced like careful notes on a staff, each one aware of the others without needing constant fuss. Their closeness feels quiet, not clingy. More like, we're here, and that's enough. There's soft science behind the sweetness. Living in a group can help with warmth, with learning, with finding familiar places. It creates a small network of reassurance in a big forest. The rainforest is layered and full, and a family group becomes a familiar thread you can follow through it. If you imagine them resting, you might picture a few marmosets nestled into a knot of vines, fur touching fur, breathing synchronized in a way that happens naturally when everyone is relaxed. Their tiny faces look peaceful, and their small hands hold branches the way sleepy people hold blankets, lightly, without gripping. And yes, there's something gently funny about how a creature so small can still give off important household energy. Even tiny families have tiny dynamics. Someone is always the one who chooses the best spot. Someone is always the one who acts like they paid rent on the branch. But the humor stays soft, like a smile you don't need to explain. The bigger feeling is comfort, togetherness as shelter. The simple fact that the forest makes space not just for individuals, but for closeness, little groups tucked into leaf shadows, sharing the night without needing to conquer it. If you've ever felt your nervous system calm down just because someone sat nearby, quietly, not demanding conversation, you know what this is. It's companionship without noise. So let that feeling settle around you now. You don't have to carry the whole world alone tonight. You don't have to be the only one holding everything together. You can imagine the canopy holding the marmosets, the vines holding the resting place, the night holding the forest's hush, in and out. Let your mind become a small family too. Thoughts sitting closer together, quieter, less scattered. Let everything gather into one warm cluster of calm. The rainforest makes room for tiny lives, and it makes room for tiny comforts. In the upper canopy, the air stays warm, but night still changes the feeling of the world. The breeze becomes softer, cooler around the edges. Moisture gathers on leaves. Bark feels slightly colder to the touch. The rainforest doesn't become harsh. It simply becomes more night-like, more hushed, more still. And in that hush, pygmy marmosets do something wonderfully simple. They cuddle, not as a dramatic gesture, not as a movie moment, just as a calm, practical choice. Tiny bodies tucking close together, forming a warm little bundle in the vines. It looks like living moss, but with blinking eyes and gentle breaths. There's a quiet science to it. Small animals lose heat more quickly than large ones, and sharing warmth can help everyone stay comfortable. But you don't need to remember the biology to feel the softness of the scene. The truth is visible without explanation. Together is warmer. Together is calmer. Sometimes they huddle so closely that it becomes hard to tell where one ends and another begins. Fur blends into fur. Tails curve like commas. The whole cluster rises and falls with breathing, steady and slow. And if you watch long enough, if you imagine it long enough, you start to feel your own body relax in sympathy. It's hard to stay tense while picturing something being that cozy on purpose. Also, let's acknowledge the gentle comedy of it. These are monkeys, technically. But in this moment, They look like a group of tiny plush toys that came to life and decided their main job is excellent cuddling. If comfort had an award ceremony, they would accept it quietly, blink twice, and then go right back to napping. The rainforest approves. The leaves remain still. The stream continues its soft whisper. The night holds the whole scene like a blanket laid carefully over everything. And you can borrow that blanket feeling now. Let your shoulders sink. Let your hands loosen. Let your jaw unclench. If you're tucked under covers, notice the warmth collecting around you the way warmth collects around the huddled marmosets. In and out. You don't need to achieve sleep. You don't need to chase it. You can let sleep approach like warmth approaches in a cuddle. Slowly, naturally, gathering bit by bit until it becomes the most obvious thing in the world. Tonight, rest doesn't need to be solitary. Even if you're alone in your room, you can feel held by simple things: fabric, air, stillness, rhythm. The rainforest knows how to hold small bodies kindly, and you can let your bed do the same. The rainforest speaks in layers. It doesn't tell one story at a time. It weaves many small stories together until the whole place becomes a soft tapestry of sound. Insects hum like distant static. Frogs offer gentle notes that feel rounded, not sharp. Water murmurs under everything, steady and low, like a sleepy heartbeat. And then, threaded through the leaves, you hear something smaller. Pygmy marmoset voices are delicate, little chirps, trills, and high notes that feel less like shouting and more like tapping lightly on a door. The sound travels through leaves in a careful way, as if it doesn't want to disturb the mood. It's the kind of communication that matches their size, present, but not overpowering. And that alone feels soothing, proof that not everything in nature needs volume to be real. There's gentle science here too. Small primates use vocal signals to stay aware of one another, to keep contact in a world full of foliage. But we don't need to translate every call. We can just listen to the effect. Soft notes appearing and fading, like raindrops that land and disappear into moss. Sometimes one marmoset calls and another responds, and the exchange feels like a quiet check-in. Not a conversation with arguments and essays, more like, "I'm here." "Me too." "Okay." Then back to stillness. If humans communicated like this at night, texting would be a lot healthier. Imagine sending "I'm here" and then immediately going to sleep instead of spiraling into a 3-hour chat about life choices. The rainforest would be proud, and the sound itself is calming because it's brief. It doesn't demand attention. It simply arrives, then lets the air return to quiet. If you listen, really listen, you can hear how the rainforest makes room for these tiny voices. The big sounds don't swallow the small ones. They leave space. The canopy holds the notes like it holds fog, gently. So let your mind do that too. Let your thoughts become quieter, smaller, more like soft calls that don't require an answer. If a thought appears, you can let it make its tiny sound, then pass. No reply needed. In and out. The marmoset calls again. Light, quick, almost polite, and the night accepts it. Then the forest returns to its steady hush, as if everyone agrees. Keep it cozy, and you, listening, can let your attention settle into that agreement. The world is still here, And it's soft. Some homes in the rainforest are obvious, big nests, visible hollows, places you could point to and say, there. But Pygmy Marmoset rest tends to be quieter than that. Their home is often a feeling of shelter rather than a single address. A knot of vines, a dense cluster of leaves, a hidden nook where branches meet in a way that blocks wind and muffles sound. The canopy is full of these tucked spaces, like the forest has been making little pockets of privacy for ages, just in case someone small needs them. At night, these pockets become especially gentle. The air inside them feels calmer. The darkness is thicker, but softer too. More like shade than emptiness. Sounds arrive muted, as if the leaves are politely lowering the volume from the outside world. You can imagine a marmoset family easing into one of these leafy rooms. No dramatic entrance, no fuss. Just tiny bodies settling where they've settled before, trusting the shape of the shelter. They tuck close, breathe slow, and become part of the canopy's quiet furniture. There's a simple science beneath the coziness. Dense foliage and vine tangles can provide cover, stable perches, and protection from weather changes. But tonight, we hold that fact lightly. The important part is the mood. A safe pocket of dark, warm enough to rest, hidden enough to relax. And yes, there is something faintly amusing about how interior design in the rainforest is basically vines, leaves, darkness, done. Minimalist. Natural fibers only, very on trend. If the Pygmy Marmoset had a home decor blog, it would be called Cozy Corners, Living Small in a Big Forest. Every post would be the same tip. Find a vine knot. Nap. As you picture that vine knot home, notice how your own body responds. The mind likes shelters. The mind relaxes when it imagines being tucked in. That's why blankets work. That's why corners feel comforting. That's why a quiet room can feel like medicine. So let yourself have a shelter now. Let your bed be your vine knot. Let your blanket be your canopy. Let the sounds around you become distant and softened, in and out. The rainforest makes space for tiny lives by creating hidden rooms made of leaves. And tonight, you can rest as if you're in one of them, safe, quiet, and gently held by the dark. Up in the canopy, night doesn't feel like a sudden switch. It feels like a slow settling, like a room dimming one gentle shade at a time. The air stays warm, but it changes texture. It becomes silkier. It holds moisture like a soft secret. And when the breeze moves, it moves carefully, brushing leaves, as if it knows everyone's trying to rest. This upper world has its own quiet climate, its own little atmosphere that isn't exactly the same as the forest floor below. The rainforest is layered in more ways than one. There are layers of leaves and branches, layers of sound and scent, and layers of temperature too. In the canopy, warmth lingers. It's not dramatic heat, not the kind that makes you restless. It's a gentle warmth, like a blanket that remembers your shape. Some pockets of air are slightly warmer where leaves overlap thickly, trapping heat and dampness. Other pockets feel cooler where a small corridor opens and lets the night breeze wander through. This is the canopy's warm breath, microclimates formed by structure and shade, by humidity and height, by how leaves and vines decide to arrange themselves. And Pygmy marmosets live inside these tiny climates, the way we live inside rooms. They learn which places feel cozier, which branches feel less exposed, which vine tangles hold warmth a little longer. They don't need a thermometer. Their bodies do the noticing for them, quietly, naturally, like a hand reaching for the warmer side of a blanket. There's something soothing about that kind of knowing. Not mental effort, just gentle awareness. You can imagine a marmoset pausing on a trunk where the bark is warm from the day's leftover sun, then moving a little higher where the air is softer. It rests where the leaves thicken overhead, and the forest becomes a hush. The canopy holds it like a sheltered corner holds a sleepy person. And yes, there's a small comedy in imagining the canopy as a wellness spa. Humidity, high, lighting, dim, soundtrack, insects, and distant water. The Pygmy Marmoset is basically a tiny guest who didn't book an appointment but clearly belongs there anyway. As you listen, you can borrow the canopy's warm breath for yourself. Let your room become a soft pocket of air. Let your blanket create your own microclimate, warmer beneath, cooler above, just right. Let your breathing settle into the rhythm of a place that doesn't rush, in and out. Night in the canopy is not empty. It is held. Warmth gathers where it can. Calm gathers where it's allowed. And you tonight can gather your calm the same way, quietly, gently, in the softest air you can find. Moonlight in the rainforest is shy. It doesn't spread evenly. It arrives in patches, small, pale puddles of brightness that drift across leaves and bark as the branches sway. Most of the time, the canopy is made of shadow and suggestion. Outlines, textures, gentle contrasts. And still, the Pygmy Marmoset moves as if the world is readable. It doesn't need a spotlight. It doesn't need clarity the way daytime demands it. It lives in familiarity, the kind you feel when you can walk through your home at night without turning on every light. Not because you're brave, because you know the shape of things. Pygmy marmosets navigate through dimness using a combination of soft cues, familiar roots, remembered bark patterns, the spacing of branches, the feel of vines under their hands. Their eyes take in what's available, but their confidence comes from experience. The forest becomes a gentle map, and the marmoset follows it like a lullaby it has heard many times before. There's a simple, calming truth here. In nature, seeing isn't always about sharp detail. Often it's about noticing enough, noticing edges, noticing movement, noticing the difference between a leaf and a gap. The canopy at night offers just enough information to move with care, and the marmoset moves with care, not cautious, not tense, just precise. A small hand reaches, a claw holds bark, a foot finds a ridge. The body shifts smoothly and then pauses like punctuation. The pause itself feels restful, like the forest built breaks into the journey on purpose. If you imagine the marmoset's gaze, it doesn't feel busy, it feels soft and observant. No frantic scanning, no dramatic head turns, more like, yes, branch, yes, vine, yes, this is still my neighborhood. Also, let's be honest, if humans had to navigate the canopy at night, there would be a lot more complaints. The Pygmy marmoset does it quietly, with the calm confidence of someone who never forgets where the snacks are. If it had a slogan, it would be, low light, high familiarity. And that's a soothing idea for you too. You don't need perfect clarity tonight. You don't need to solve anything. You only need enough softness to move toward rest. If your mind wants to see tomorrow, you can let it blur. If it wants to replay today, you can dim it gently, in and out. Let your thoughts become like moonlight through leaves, patchy, gentle, not demanding. Let your attention rest on what's closest, the weight of your blanket, the steadiness of the bed, the simple rhythm of breathing. The canopy doesn't insist on brightness. It offers dim light and calm roots. And tonight, that is plenty. A tree trunk in daylight looks solid and still, just a trunk, just bark. But in the Pygmy Marmoset's world, a trunk is a whole landscape. It has ridges like little hills, grooves like tiny valleys, patches of moss like soft rugs placed thoughtfully for tired feet. And in the dim hush of night, it becomes a quiet road. The marmoset moves along these bark roads with a kind of gentle purpose, not hurried, not showy, just steady, like someone walking a familiar hallway in socks, making as little noise as possible because the whole house is asleep. Its feet find grip easily. Claws anchor into bark. Hands hold textures the way we hold a railing in the dark, lightly, for reassurance, not because we expect to fall. The movement is small and efficient. A reach, a hold, a soft shift, a pause, then another small shift. Watching this kind of movement makes the mind soften because it's built from little decisions that never become stressful. The marmoset doesn't rush through. It inhabits each step, each contact point, each quiet pause. There's gentle science under the calm. These animals are shaped for clinging and climbing. Their bodies are light. Their grip is natural. Their roots are chosen for comfort and reliability. Over time, certain paths become favorites. Trees that feel easier, vines that feel like trusted handrails, branch intersections that become familiar corners. But you don't need the details to feel the mood. The mood is simple, a small life moving through a large world by using what fits. And there's something quietly inspiring about that. The world doesn't have to be conquered to be lived in. It can be traveled in gentle pieces. If Pygmy marmosets were in charge of urban planning, every staircase would be lined with soft moss. Every hallway would have vine handrails, and the speed limit would be, please take your time. Also, snacks would be mandatory. Honestly, a strong platform. As the marmoset continues along the trunk, the rainforest behind it remains a soft blur of leaf shadow and distant sound. The stream murmurs below. Insects keep their gentle pulse. The canopy holds everything like a ceiling that doesn't press down, just shelters. And you can let your mind follow the same kind of road now. Not a road to productivity, not a road to figuring it out, a road to rest, one step at a time, one breath at a time, in and out. Let your thoughts move in small, quiet pieces. Let them pause, let them soften, let them settle into the bark road rhythm. Steady contact, gentle progress, no need to hurry anywhere at all. The canopy is busy, but it isn't chaotic. It's more like a softly crowded library, many lives present, each one keeping its own gentle lane. A frog calls from somewhere deep in leaf shadow, not loudly, just clearly enough to be part of the night's music. Insects hum like a steady background thread, weaving the air together. A bird shifts on a branch and then goes still again, as if it remembered the assignment. Quiet. The rainforest, in its calm wisdom, is arranged in layers, not just layers of leaves, but layers of living. Some creatures prefer the ground, where soil holds warmth and fallen leaves create soft cover. Others prefer the middle spaces, trunks and vines, the quiet vertical world. And some, like the Pygmy Marmoset, belong higher up, where branches become pathways and the air feels like warm breath. This layering creates something very soothing: space without argument. Everyone fits by choosing a different level, a different rhythm, a different corner of the same enormous home. The Pygmy Marmoset is small enough to make use of the narrowest spaces, the thin branches, the tight vine knots, the bark grooves that are invisible to larger bodies. It doesn't demand room. It simply finds it. It's the rainforest's quiet reminder that belonging doesn't always require being big. And in that quiet reminder, there's a gentle humor. The marmoset's whole vibe is, "Excuse me, I'll just slip through here." And the forest politely steps aside. If the rainforest had etiquette rules, the first would be, make room for small guests. The second would probably be, please keep chirps at an indoor volume. This shared space is not a performance. It's a calm system of coexistence. Leaves create shelter. Shelter creates calm pockets. Calm pockets invite small lives. Small lives keep the system alive in tiny ways, touching, tasting, moving softly through the canopy without needing to disrupt it. When you think of it like this, the rainforest becomes less like a wild place and more like a patient community, one that doesn't hold meetings, doesn't post schedules, and still manages to function beautifully. And you can borrow that feeling for yourself. You don't have to compete with your thoughts tonight. You don't have to win against wakefulness. You can simply share space with whatever appears: sensations, sounds, drifting ideas, without getting tangled up in them. In and out. Let the sounds be there, like insects in the canopy. Let your thoughts be there, like distant frogs. Let everything keep its own lane, and let you remain in the quiet center of it, held steady and unbothered. The rainforest shares space gently, and tonight, so can you. In the rainforest, morning doesn't arrive with a sharp edge. There's no sudden brightness, no dramatic ta-da. Sunrise comes the way sleep comes, gradually, almost politely, slipping in through gaps in leaves, softening the darkness a little at a time. Before the light changes, the canopy stays in its deep, warm hush. The air feels still. Fog lingers in thin layers, as if it isn't ready to leave. Water continues murmuring below, steady as ever, sounding like it has been awake the whole time but chose not to mention it. Then, slowly, a faint gray begins to replace the darkest shadows. Leaf edges become slightly more visible. Bark textures become clearer, like the forest is gently adjusting the focus. This is the rainforest's clock. Not numbers, not alarms, just light drifting in. And Pygmy marmosets follow this slow clock naturally. Their bodies respond to the changing dimness, to temperature shifts, to the subtle brightening that tells the canopy it's moving toward day. There's no rush in it. No frantic, we're late. Just a quiet easing into the next part of the cycle. If the rainforest had an alarm tone, it would be softly, softly, still, softly, very consistent, very soothing. You can imagine a marmoset family still tucked in a vine knot as the first light arrives, tiny bodies close, breathing slow. Maybe one stirs slightly. Maybe a small face turns toward a brighter patch of leaf. Maybe a soft call, brief, gentle, checks the air like a fingertip testing water temperature. Nothing about it feels urgent. It feels like the forest waking up the way a sleepy person wakes up, not leaping into the day, but stretching into it slowly. There's something comforting in knowing that nature doesn't demand immediate readiness. It transitions. It drifts. It takes its time becoming what it will be next. And you can take your time too, even if you're listening at night, even if sleep hasn't fully arrived yet. You can practice the rainforest's pace. No forcing, no rushing, no come on brain. Just gentle movement toward rest, in and out. Let your breath be your sunrise, not bright, not sharp, just slightly softer with each cycle. Let your thoughts lighten, not into productivity, but into quiet. Let your body settle deeper into comfort, as if it's choosing the slowest, kindest way to arrive at sleep. The rainforest doesn't hurry sunrise. It lets the light drift in like a whisper. And tonight, you can let sleep drift in the same way, softly, steadily, without needing to do anything except breathe. In the canopy, the rainforest is full of paths you can't see from below. They're not carved into the earth. They're written in repetition, in the places where branches meet, where vines loop like handrails, where a trunk offers the easiest grip. For a pygmy marmoset, a route is not a plan on paper. It's a feeling in the body, a remembered curve of bark under the palm, a familiar branch that always sits in the right place, a vine that bends just enough to be helpful, like a polite neighbor. Night after night, these tiny monkeys return to certain trees, especially the ones that offer sap and gum. The trees become anchors in a leafy world. The routes between them become quiet corridors, traveled with calm efficiency, like a person walking from bed to kitchen in the dark, already knowing where the floorboards creak. There's gentle science here. Repeating routes saves energy and reduces uncertainty. In a place as layered as the rainforest, familiarity is a kind of comfort. A known trunk is a known texture. A known feeding site is a known reward. The marmoset doesn't need to explore constantly. It can simply return, and return is soothing. You can picture the marmoset moving along its route in small steps, cling, pause, shift, breathe. The canopy holds stillness between movements. Leaves barely stir. Insects keep their soft pulse. The monkey's path becomes a quiet line through the night, steady and unhurried. There's a feather-light humor in imagining how seriously this route might be taken, like it's a tiny commute. Good evening, the marmoset might say to the same branch it uses every day. Lovely bark texture as always. It's routine with personality, but never with rush. And for you, listening, routine can be restful too. There's something deeply calming about not having to decide new things, about knowing where you are in the night, about letting your mind stop searching for novelty and simply rest in what's familiar. So let your breath become your route, in and out. Each inhale is a step forward. Each exhale is a pause, a small, predictable rhythm you can return to again and again, like a favorite sap tree. If a thought appears, you don't have to follow it into unfamiliar territory. You can return. Back to breathing, back to the softness of the room, back to the steady feeling of being supported. The rainforest makes space for tiny lives by offering familiar paths. And tonight, you can make space for rest the same way, by walking the simplest route back to calm. Sap may be the rainforest's slow dessert, but it isn't the only thing a pygmy marmoset enjoys. The canopy offers small, quiet snacks too, things that fit its size and its gentle pace. A tiny insect on a leaf, a soft piece of fruit, a bit of nectar gathered from a flower that opens like a calm invitation. These are not dramatic meals. They're small moments of nourishment, tucked into the night like little gifts. If you picture the marmoset feeding, it doesn't feel like searching. It feels like noticing. A pause near a leaf, a slow tilt of the head, a careful pickup with delicate fingers. The movements are tidy, almost polite. Even chewing seems quieter, like the rainforest has a library voice rule, and the pygmy marmoset respects it. There's gentle science beneath it. Pygmy marmosets can eat a mix of tree exudates and small foods like insects and fruit when available. But we don't need to pile up details. The important part is the mood of it, the forest providing in small, steady ways, and the tiny monkey receiving without fuss. A snack is a comfort, a small reassurance. The world has what you need in gentle portions. And yes, if you want to imagine it in human terms, the pygmy marmoset has a very relatable diet philosophy. Tiny bites, frequent appreciation. It's like the canopy version of grazing, but with better scenery and fewer grocery receipts. Sometimes the marmoset pauses after eating, staying still as if savoring, not just the food, but the quiet. It looks around with soft eyes. It listens. It holds the moment lightly. And that kind of light holding is what we're practicing tonight. You don't have to grip your day. You don't have to chew on thoughts until they're exhausted. You can take what you need: comfort, breath, softness, and let the rest pass. In and out. Let the idea of small nourishment settle into you. Not as a to-do list, not as a self-improvement plan, just as a gentle permission. You are allowed to be cared for by simple things: a warm blanket, a quiet room, a calm story. The rainforest keeps snacks warm in hidden places. It keeps sweetness under bark. It keeps nectar in small cups of petals. And tonight, you can let the world keep you warm too, quietly, steadily, without needing to do anything except soften. Rain in the rainforest is not always a storm. Often, it's a texture, a sound that joins the canopy, the way a blanket joins a bed, softly, evenly, without needing to be dramatic. At night, the first drops feel like gentle taps on leaves. One leaf answers with a small click. Another answers with a deeper thump. The canopy becomes a slow percussion instrument, each leaf playing its own note in the same calm rhythm. Rainfall here is layered too. Some drops land on high leaves and scatter into smaller droplets that fall lower, like a slow cascade. Some drops slide along vines and drip from tips in patient intervals. Some find a hollow in a branch and collect there. becoming a small, hidden pool that glows dimly when moonlight filters through. The whole soundscape becomes softer, more steady, more comforting. Pygmy marmosets live inside this drumming, and it doesn't seem to trouble them. The rainforest is built for rain. Leaves are shaped to guide it. Bark is shaped to hold it briefly. And life is shaped to accept it as part of the nightly atmosphere. If the marmosets are resting in a vine knot, the rain becomes their background lullaby. If they're awake, the drops become a gentle cue. The world is doing its usual night work. Nothing needs attention. Everything is okay. There's a calming science in this too. Rhythmic sound helps the mind settle. A predictable pattern tells the body it can stop scanning. The rain doesn't surprise, it repeats, and repetition is comforting. Also, it is slightly funny how the rainforest treats rain like a normal roommate. Rain arrives, makes noise, moves things around, and nobody complains. If a human roommate dripped from the ceiling this often, there would be emails. The rainforest simply says, "Yes, this is how we live." So let the rain's soft drumming become part of your breathing, in and out. Imagine each inhale as a drop landing gently on a leaf. Imagine each exhale as the drop sliding off and disappearing into moss. If thoughts appear, let them be like raindrops too, brief and harmless. They land, they make a tiny ripple, and they pass. The canopy keeps drumming, tap, 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 steady and quiet. And your body, hearing that steadiness, can begin to relax more deeply. Muscles soften, attention loosens, the mind stops insisting on sharpness. Rain is simply rain. Night is simply night, and you are allowed to rest inside the rhythm. In a forest this full, one of the gentlest skills is knowing how to blend in, not in a fearful way, not as a drama, just as a quiet art, moving softly, choosing sheltered spaces, becoming part of the bark and leaves the way. Mist becomes part of the river. Pygmy marmosets are small, and the canopy gives small creatures a special kind of comfort. There are many places to disappear into softness. A cluster of leaves, a vine tangle, a patch of shadow on a trunk. The forest is full of gentle hiding spots, and the marmoset uses them the way you use a blanket, simply because it feels better. This isn't about danger tonight. Tonight is about comfort. It's about how the rainforest makes space for small lives by offering cover that feels like privacy. It's about the relief of not being in the open, not being on display, not having to show up for anyone. If you imagine a pygmy marmoset pausing on a trunk, it may hold still for a moment, fur blending with bark tones, body tucked close to the tree as if the tree is a friend. The stillness isn't tense, it's restful. It's the stillness of belonging. There's a tiny bit of biology behind it. Small animals often rely on cover and quiet movement. But we keep that fact light, like a leaf. The deeper feeling is this: the forest offers permission to be unseen, and that permission is precious. It's also, gently, a little humorous how good they are at it. The pygmy marmoset is basically the rainforest's adorable ninja, except instead of throwing stars, it throws tiny, sleepy vibes. If it had a motto, it would be, "If you can't see me, you can't ask me to do anything." Honestly, a dream. So let this part of the story become a permission slip for you too. You don't have to be noticed tonight. You don't have to be productive. You don't have to perform calm. Just let calm happen. In and out. Let the darkness of your room be your canopy cover. Let your blanket be your leaf cluster. Let your breathing be the quiet stillness that blends you gently into rest. The rainforest makes space for small lives by giving them places to soften into. And tonight, you can soften into sleep the same way, quietly, kindly, and without needing anyone to see you do it. In the rainforest, camouflage isn't always about disappearing. Sometimes it's about matching the mood of a place so well that you look like you belong there. And pygmy marmosets do this in a way that feels almost unfairly charming. Their fur tones often blend with bark, soft browns, grays, warm, earthy shades that echo the tree trunk's texture. When they cling upright, close to the bark, they can look like part of the tree's pattern. A small knot of fur, a gentle shadow with blinking eyes. It's not a magic trick. It's just good design. Nature's quiet way of making sure small lives can move through big places without being loud about it. And tonight, we keep it calm. We don't turn it into a suspense story. We simply notice the softness of blending, the comfort of being quiet, the ease of not standing out. Imagine the marmoset resting on a trunk in dim light. It becomes still, not frozen, just settled. Its tiny hands hold bark lightly. Its body hugs the tree the way you might hug a pillow without thinking. In this posture, the forest looks like it has grown a new texture, one that breathes. There's a gentle science here. Stillness and color matching can help small animals avoid attention, but we'll hold that as a bedtime fact, not a headline. The bigger idea is emotional. Sometimes the safest thing is not to be seen, but to be held by the environment. And the environment holds the marmoset beautifully. It holds it in bark ridges, in leaf shadow, in vine tangles, in the warm breath of the canopy. Also, let's admit, there's something mildly funny about calling it camouflage when the animal is this cute. It's like hiding a cupcake behind a glass window. Yes, technically it's behind something, but also, we all know it's there. The rainforest seems to pretend not to notice out of politeness. If pygmy marmosets were invited to a costume party, they would show up dressed as tree, and everyone would clap gently because it's both accurate and adorable. So tonight, let your mind borrow this kind of camouflage, not to avoid danger, but to avoid effort. You don't need to stand out in your own thoughts. You don't need to shine. You can blend into calm, in and out. Let the room's darkness become your bark shadow. Let your breath become your stillness. Let sleep approach without needing you to wave it over. The rainforest teaches a quiet skill. Blending can be restful. And tonight, you can blend into the night, softly, gently, until your thoughts become as faint as leaf shadow and your body feels perfectly placed. In the rainforest, memory doesn't sit in one place like a photograph in a frame. It spreads out through textures. It lives in small signs that don't ask to be noticed until you slow down enough to see them. On a familiar tree trunk, there may be faint marks where tiny claws have gripped bark again and again. Not deep scratches, not damage, just the gentlest evidence of repetition. A slightly smoother patch where small hands have held on. a barely visible trail where a family group often travels, like a quiet hallway in a house that doesn't have doors. These are the rainforest's tiny footprints. They aren't loud. They don't announce, "Someone was here." They simply remain for a while, as soft proof that a small life moves through this big place with consistency and care. You can imagine a pygmy marmoset pausing on the same trunk it paused on last night. It settles into its familiar posture, upright against bark, body close to the tree, as if the tree is comforting. The forest does not react. The forest simply holds the moment, the way moss holds moisture, gently, without fuss. There's a calm kind of science in this. Repeated roots create familiarity. Familiarity reduces effort, and in nature, effort is something you spend thoughtfully. The marmoset doesn't need constant novelty. It needs dependable places, trusted bark roads, known vine handrails, sap trees that keep their slow promises. The rainforest, wonderfully, makes space for that kind of dependable life. And if you think about it, the forest remembers in the same way your bed remembers you. The slight dip in the mattress, the way your pillow has a favorite side. These are not dramatic memories. They're comfort memories, body memories, shape memories. There's a gentle humor hiding here too. If the pygmy marmoset had a frequent visitor card, the rainforest would stamp it silently and never mention it. No coupons, no app download, just, "Yes, you again. Welcome." Tonight, let that kind of memory feel soothing to you. You don't need your mind to remember everything. You don't need to replay your day to prove it happened. The rainforest doesn't replay. It simply carries traces for a while. Then let's rain and wind soften them back into the larger pattern. So let your thoughts become softer traces too. In and out. Let the sharp edges of your day blur like footprints after a light rain. Let your mind keep only what it wants to keep. Gentle impressions, warm feelings, small comforts. And let the rest fade quietly into the background of night. If the rainforest were a storyteller, it wouldn't speak in paragraphs. It would speak in layers, rings inside wood, scars on bark, trails in moss, and sap that returns like a slow, honey-colored refrain. Bark holds time in its texture. Every ridge and seam feels like a calm record of growth, patient, steady, almost uninterested in being impressive. A tree doesn't hurry to become older. It simply continues, one quiet day at a time, building its history the way sleep builds rest, gradually, and sap. Sap is one of the forest's most comforting reminders that slow things can still be generous. It gathers beneath the bark. It moves in small, steady ways. It appears when the tree is ready, not when anyone asks for it louder. For pygmy marmosets, this slow generosity becomes part of their routine. They return to familiar trunks, knowing that the forest keeps its quiet schedule. Not a rigid schedule, more like a gentle tendency. If the tree has sap, the tree has sap. If not, the marmoset simply moves on without complaint, like a tiny monk practicing calm acceptance. There's something soothing in that, this natural patience with timing. Trees also heal. A small mark in bark slowly becomes smoother over time. A scar becomes part of the pattern. The tree doesn't dramatize its healing. It just keeps growing around it as if saying, "Yes, That happened anyway. Growth. Honestly, trees are the world's calmest archivists. Their filing system is basically stored under, still alive. And the rainforest holds all these quiet records without asking you to interpret them. You can simply notice, this place has been continuing for a long time, in a slow, steady way that doesn't require urgency. That can feel deeply comforting to a busy mind, because a busy mind often treats every thought like it must be solved immediately. The forest suggests another approach. Let things take the time they take, in and out. Let your thoughts move like sap, slow, thick, quiet. Let them gather, then drift. Let them stop trying to rush into conclusions. If you're still awake, that's okay. You're just steeping, like tea, like sap, like the rainforest itself. And as you listen, you might feel the gentle promise underneath everything. Time can be kind. Change can be soft. Healing can be quiet. You don't have to force any of it. The bark remembers. The sap returns. And you can rest inside that slow, dependable rhythm until sleep feels like the simplest next thing. When people say intelligence, they often picture speed, fast thinking, quick answers, bright ideas that arrive with a little fireworks. But the rainforest offers a different kind of intelligence, an intelligence made of balance, feedback, and small adjustments that happen so gently you might miss them unless you're already calm. This is ecosystem intelligence, quietly working. A tree grows leaves that catch rain. The rain drips down in softened patterns, watering moss and understory plants. Those plants hold soil in place. The soil holds roots. Roots hold the tree. Everything is connected, not with a dramatic announcement, but with steady cooperation. Even the air participates. Humidity collects under the canopy, holding warmth and moisture. Shade changes how quickly things dry. Vines create corridors. Flowers open on their own timing. Insects move pollen without needing a job title. The rainforest is full of little systems that support one another without ever scheduling a meeting. And somewhere in this calm network lives the Pygmy Marmoset, small enough to slip into the narrow spaces the forest naturally creates. Its life is shaped by the forest's quiet structure, sap available in certain trees, cover in certain tangles, warmth in certain leafy pockets. The marmoset doesn't have to control any of it. It simply lives within it. That's what makes the rainforest's intelligence so soothing. It doesn't depend on force. It depends on gentle responsiveness. If something changes, the forest adjusts slowly. If rain arrives, leaves guide it. If sun returns, the canopy breathes it in. If sap flows, marmosets return. If it doesn't, they drift toward another familiar trunk. No panic, no drama, just adjustment. And there's a soft humor in how effortlessly nature makes teamwork look. Humans would create 5 group chats and still forget the plan. The rainforest just quietly succeeds, day after day, as if it's allergic to overthinking. So tonight, let your mind borrow that style of intelligence. Not the kind that tries to fix everything, the kind that balances. If a thought appears, you don't need to wrestle it. You can adjust around it, like water around a stone. If your body feels restless, you can respond gently. Shift your shoulders, loosen your jaw, soften your hands. Small adjustments that invite calm, in and out. Let your breathing be the steady network that supports you. Let the room be your canopy. Let the darkness be your shade. You don't need to manage the whole forest tonight. You only need to rest inside it, letting the quiet intelligence of the natural world remind you that calm can hold itself, and you can be held too. In the rainforest, nothing seems obsessed with perfection. Instead, everything seems gently shaped toward what works. That's what adaptation feels like here. Not like a dramatic transformation, but like soft design, a quiet fit between a body and its world. The Pygmy Marmoset is a beautiful example of this. Its small size allows it to use branches that would barely register as paths to larger animals. Its gentle claws help it cling to vertical trunks with steady ease. Its tiny hands feel made for bark textures and vine seams, like the forest built little handles everywhere, and the marmoset arrived already knowing how to use them. Even its diet, sap and small foods, feels like a calm choice in a place where patience is rewarded. Sap doesn't need chasing, it simply appears in its own time. The marmoset matches that pace, and the match itself becomes soothing to watch. Adaptation is not always flashy. Sometimes it's just the ability to live comfortably. And comfort in nature is strategy. There's also something tender about how the marmoset's life seems designed for closeness. Family groups resting together, small bodies sharing warmth, a little pile of fur and breath tucked into a vine knot like a living blanket. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's the forest saying quietly, "Together is warm." If you listen to this story long enough, you might notice something in yourself softening too. Because adaptation isn't only an animal thing. Humans adapt as well, by finding routines that feel safe, by building small comforts, by learning what calms the nervous system and returning to it. And yes, it is faintly funny how nature gives certain creatures the exact vibe they need. The Pygmy Marmoset looks like it was designed by someone who loves tiny details, like, let's make it miniature, give it excellent grip, and add just enough cuteness to disarm anyone's stress. The rainforest said, "Approved." So tonight, let yourself adapt to the night, not by striving, by fitting. Fit your body into the bed more deeply, fit your breath into a slower rhythm, fit your thoughts into softer shapes, less sharp, less demanding, in and out. You don't need to become someone else to rest. You only need to settle into what works for you: warmth, stillness, gentle sound, steady breathing. That is soft design too. And the rainforest, patient and quiet, seems to whisper, "Yes," like that. In many places, seasons arrive with clear announcements: snow, heat, sudden color changes. But in the rainforest, seasons can feel more like subtle shifts in the mood of the air. A little more rain, a little less, a different timing to the fruiting trees, a slight change in how long the leaves stay wet. The rainforest doesn't flip pages loudly. It turns them slowly. One week, the rain drums a little more often, and the canopy feels freshly rinsed. Another week, the sky holds back, and the forest feels quieter, as if it's saving its water for later. Sap may flow differently as trees respond to these gentle changes. Insects shift their rhythms. Flowers open on their own schedules. The whole place adjusts in small, steady ways, like breathing changing when you drift deeper into sleep. Pygmy marmosets live inside these shifts without making a big deal out of them. Their routines adapt softly. They return to familiar trees, but they may linger longer in certain areas when the forest offers more there. They rest in warm pockets when nights feel slightly cooler. They keep doing what they do, just with tiny adjustments, like pulling a blanket higher when the air changes. There is something deeply soothing about that. Change without alarm. We often treat change like a siren. The rainforest treats it like weather. It's simply part of the cycle. It arrives, it drifts through, it becomes the new normal for a while, and then it drifts again. If seasons had personalities here, they'd be very polite. Like, "Hello, yes, I brought a little extra rain." And the forest would say, "Thank you, I'll incorporate that." No drama, no speeches, just quiet cooperation. So tonight, you can let your own inner season be whatever it is. If your mind feels busy, that's one season. If it feels quiet, that's another. If you're somewhere in between, soft and drifting, that's perfectly fine too. In and out. Let your breath be the steady cycle beneath everything, like the rainforest's constant humidity, always present, always supporting life. And as you rest, remember, the rainforest makes space for small lives through steady patterns and gentle returns. The pygmy marmoset doesn't demand the world stay the same. It simply learns the rhythm and lives inside it calmly. You can do the same tonight. Let sleep return the way seasons return, slowly, quietly, and right on time. In the rainforest, cooperation rarely looks like a grand gesture. It looks like 1,000 small kindnesses happening quietly, as if no one wants to take credit. The canopy shares shade, leaves share rain, vines share pathways, even moss shares softness, spreading gently wherever it finds a place to settle, like it's decorating the forest with calm. No one holds a meeting. No one sends an email. Somehow, it works. A tree grows and offers sap, slow, steady sweetness that forms beneath bark. Insects move through flowers and carry pollen without needing applause. Rain arrives, and leaves guide it downward in softened drips. Those drips water plants below, and the plants hold soil, and the soil holds roots, and roots hold trees, and trees hold the canopy, and the canopy holds everything. And within this quietly working network, the pygmy marmoset finds a life that fits. It uses vine tangles as corridors. It uses bark ridges as footholds. It returns to sap trees that keep their slow promises. It rests in leafy pockets the forest seems to have built just for small bodies. The marmoset doesn't make the system. It participates in it, like a gentle note in a larger chord. And that participation feels calm because it doesn't require force. It only requires belonging. There's a soft humor in imagining how effortlessly nature cooperates compared to us. If humans had to coordinate rainfall, we'd end up with a spreadsheet, a committee, and a debate about whether drizzle counts as light precipitation. The rainforest simply rains, and the leaves handle it. Truly elite management, and the marmosets, in their own tiny way, also cooperate. Family members stay close. They share warmth. They move together along familiar routes. They keep contact with soft calls that don't disrupt the night. Their cooperation is not loud teamwork. It's quiet togetherness. So tonight, let cooperation become a feeling you borrow. Cooperate with your breath. Don't fight it, just follow it. Cooperate with your body. Let it soften. Let it sink. Cooperate with the night. Let it be slow. Let it be gentle. In and out. If a thought arrives, you can cooperate with it too, without wrestling. Notice it, then let it pass, the way water passes over a stone. No struggle, no argument, just soft movement. The rainforest teaches us simple comfort. Life can support life in small, steady ways. Nothing has to be dramatic to be effective. Nothing has to be loud to be true. And tonight, you don't have to do this alone. The bed supports you. The blanket supports warmth. The rhythm of breath supports calm. Cooperation without announcements. Quiet support everywhere. In the rainforest, life cycles don't arrive like bold headlines. They arrive like gentle repetitions, small beginnings, slow growing, quiet continuations that feel more like a pattern than a plot twist. Somewhere in a vine knot, a pygmy marmoset infant may be held close, not with dramatic fuss, but with steady warmth. Tiny bodies remain tucked together, and the night seems to lean in softly, like it doesn't want to disturb the tenderness. New life in the rainforest often feels like that, subtle, protected, carried along inside routines. A baby doesn't need to be announced. It needs to be warmed. It needs to be held. It needs to be part of the group's calm rhythm. As time moves, slowly, like sap, the young marmoset grows into the canopy's pathways. It learns the bark roads, the vine handrails, the soft calls of family members. It learns that certain trees hold sweetness. It learns where the air feels warmer, where the leaves become thicker overhead. Learning here is not rushed. It's absorbed through repetition, through being nearby, through watching and following. There is something deeply soothing about that kind of learning. Not study hard, more like be here long enough and you'll know. And when a life cycle continues, when young become older, when routines shift gently, the rainforest doesn't treat it as a loss. It treats it as continuation. The canopy remains, the sap returns, the vine knots keep offering shelter. If you let yourself feel that for a moment, it can soften your mind, because our minds often cling to time like it's trying to escape. The rainforest holds time like a blanket, wrapping it around everything without tightening. There's a tiny bit of humor in how serious small life cycles can look from a distance. A pygmy marmoset may grow up and still remain, objectively, very small. Imagine graduating into adulthood and your main achievement is still tiny, still clinging. Honestly, iconic consistency. But the tenderness remains the main note. Life cycles here are gentle. They don't demand attention. They simply happen, like the way breathing happens while you sleep, steady, unannounced, quietly essential. So tonight, let your own cycle be simple, in and out. Let the inhale begin. Let the exhale release. Let one breath become the next without needing to label anything. You don't have to track time right now. You don't have to measure progress. You can rest inside the steady continuation of night, just as the rainforest rests inside the steady continuation of life. In a world that often celebrates bigger, the pygmy marmoset offers a different kind of success. Staying small, quietly, confidently, and perfectly suited to the space it inhabits. Its small body fits into places the rainforest naturally provides. Tight vine tangles, narrow branches, bark grooves that become whole pathways. It moves through the canopy like a soft breeze moves through leaves, present but never heavy. It doesn't need to take up much room, and somehow that becomes a gift, because when you are small, you can choose corners, you can choose shade, you can choose warmth tucked under layered leaves. You can live gently in the spaces that feel most comfortable. There's a quiet poetry in that, success not as dominance, but as fit. The rainforest doesn't ask the marmoset to be larger. It simply offers niches, and the marmoset slips into them as if it was always meant to be there. Tiny hands cling to bark. Tiny teeth coax sap. Tiny voices float through the canopy like raindrops. It is a life made of soft details. And yes, there's affectionate humor in imagining tiny as an entire lifestyle brand. The Pygmy Marmoset would absolutely be the face of a calm campaign called Small is Peaceful. Minimalist, natural fibers, no loud meetings, just sap and naps. But beneath the smile is something genuinely soothing. The idea that you don't need to become bigger to be okay. You don't need to add more, do more, prove more. You can be enough as you are, quietly, simply, without taking up the whole world. Tonight, that idea is a pillow. So let yourself feel small in the safest way. Not diminished, not less than, but lightened. Like you're no longer carrying a heavy backpack of expectations, in and out. Let your thoughts become smaller, softer, less insistent. Let your worries shrink into the background, the way distant sounds become muffled under a blanket. Let your body take up only the space it needs, and let that be perfectly enough. The Pygmy Marmoset doesn't try to be tiny. It just is, and the rainforest makes space for it. And the night can make space for you too, exactly as you are, without you needing to expand into anything. Rest doesn't require bigness. Rest requires softness, and softness is already here. Home for a Pygmy Marmoset isn't a single doorway with a sign. It's a pattern, familiar trees, trusted vine knots, routes that feel known in the body. It's a map made of comfort, a certain trunk where sap can be found, a certain cluster of leaves where the air stays warmer, a certain vine tangle that holds a safe pocket of darkness at night. These places aren't labeled, but they're remembered, and the remembering is gentle, not a mental list. More like the way your body knows where your bed is in the dark. Your feet can find it without thinking. Your hands can find the blanket edge. Familiarity does the work. The rainforest helps by being consistent in its own way. Trees keep growing, vines keep looping, leaf clusters keep forming small rooms of shade and privacy. In a forest full of change, these repeated shapes become anchors, and the marmoset returns to them like a quiet ritual. There is something deeply calming about return, about the idea that you don't have to search forever. You can find a few places that feel safe, then keep coming back. And yes, there's a soft humor in imagining how a tiny monkey might treat home, like it's very serious real estate. This vine knot, prime location, excellent humidity, 5-star shade. But truly, if you were that small, you'd probably be picky too. Home is not about luxury here. It's about fit, warmth, cover, togetherness. a place where your body can soften and your attention can stop scanning the world. That's the kind of home you can create tonight. Not an architectural home, an emotional one. Let your bed be your familiar trunk. Let your blanket be your vine knot. Let your room's darkness be your canopy shade. In and out. If a thought tries to pull you elsewhere, into tomorrow, into old conversations, into little mental errands, you can return. Back to your breath, back to the steady support beneath you, back to the simplest pattern. Inhale, exhale. Home is a pattern of safety, and patterns are gentle because they don't demand new effort. The rainforest makes space for tiny lives by offering these patterns. And tonight, you can let sleep arrive through the same doorway. Repetition, familiarity, and quiet return. And now, like a leaf drifting back into view, the question returns. What does the rainforest make space for? Especially when something is very small? We don't bring it back to solve it. We bring it back the way you might remember a scent from earlier in the day, softly, without urgency. The rainforest doesn't demand answers in sharp sentences. It offers feelings, patterns, and slow truths that settle into you over time. As the night deepens, the canopy grows stiller. The wind eases. Rain, if it's there, becomes lighter, more like a whisper than a drum. Sounds simplify. Space feels wider, even though the forest is dense. It's as if the whole ecosystem has decided to speak more quietly now. And in that quiet, the answer begins to form. Not as words, but as a mood. The rainforest makes space through layers, through shade, through cover, through repetition and familiarity, through soft corridors of vines and bark and leaf clusters that become little rooms. It makes space for small lives by offering small comforts. And the Pygmy Marmoset lives inside those comforts, clinging to trunks, returning to sap trees, resting in vine knots with family, moving softly along routes it knows by heart. This isn't a story of striving tonight. It's a story of fitting. And that is a gentle thing to learn from. If your mind has been loud today, full of lists, messages, plans, you can let it become smaller now. Not smaller in worth, just smaller in volume. Like turning down a radio until it becomes background hum. In and out. Let the question hover like a leaf in still air. What does the rainforest make space for? Maybe it makes space for softness itself. Maybe it makes space for rest. Maybe it makes space for you right now without requiring you to earn it. The canopy remains overhead like a blanket. The air stays warm and steady. The forest continues its slow breathing through leaves and humidity. And somewhere in a hidden pocket of vines, a tiny family of monkeys rests, unbothered by the world's noise, held by the simple fact of shelter. You can be held too, drifting, settling, quieting. The question returns, softer, and the night, patient and kind, continues making space until sleep feels like the most natural thing in the world. The rainforest does something gentle as the night moves deeper. It doesn't shut down. It doesn't end. It simply loosens, like a hand unclenching, like shoulders dropping, like a room settling after the last conversation fades. The canopy hush thickens, not heavy, just soft. Leaves overlap like quiet curtains, and the air between them feels calmer, as if it has learned the art of staying still. The stream below continues its low murmur, but even that sounds smoother now, less like a sentence, more like a breath. This is the hour when everything seems to agree. Nothing needs to be pushed. And that's where we return, gently, to what the rainforest makes space for. It makes space for small lives through softness, through layers, through cover, through familiar patterns that don't demand effort. It makes space for tiny bodies by offering vine knots that become sleeping rooms, bark roads that don't require leaps, sap that arrives in its own time. The Pygmy Marmoset belongs to this softness. It doesn't fight the forest, it fits into it. It finds its quiet places, returns to its trusted trees, and lets routine hold it like a cradle. And you can borrow that cradle feeling now. If your thoughts still feel a bit busy, you don't need to chase them. You can loosen around them, like water around a stone, like fog around branches. Let the thoughts exist at the edges, while your attention settles into something simpler. Your breath, in and out. Let that be your bark road, familiar, reliable, quiet. If a worry appears, it can be like a distant frog call, present but far away, not urgent. If a plan for tomorrow floats in, let it drift like a leaf across a dark patch of water. Notice it, then let it pass. The night is not the time for holding every thought in your hands. It's the time for letting your hands rest. Let your jaw soften. Let your shoulders drop. Let your fingers loosen. Let your legs sink heavier into the bed, as if the mattress is gently welcoming you further down. There's a faint, cozy humor in how nature makes this look so effortless. The forest doesn't do late-night spirals. The Pygmy Marmoset doesn't lie awake reviewing its life choices while staring at a vine. It simply rests. Honestly, an aspirational skill set. So let rest be simple. Loosening, settling, quieting. The leaf hush isn't something you have to create. It's already there. You only have to allow yourself to sink into it, like a small animal tucking into cover, like a thought fading into sleep. If rain is falling now, it has changed its voice. Earlier, it may have drummed lightly on leaves, tapping out a steady rhythm. But as the night deepens, the sound becomes softer, more delicate, like rain has decided not to wake anyone. The drops land gently, and the canopy absorbs them with quiet grace. One leaf catches a droplet and holds it for a moment before letting it slide off. Another leaf lets the droplet split into smaller beads that drip down more slowly. The forest doesn't resist rain. It guides it. It shapes it into calm. And the sound becomes a whispering lullaby. Tap, pause, tap, pause. The spaces between drops feel just as soothing as the drops themselves. This is the hour when the world's edges blur slightly. Humidity thickens, making the air feel velvety. Shadows soften. The stream below becomes a deeper hush, steady and low, like a calm breath you can follow without effort. In this softened world, the Pygmy Marmoset is likely tucked away, resting in its vine knot home, curled close with family, letting the canopy do its gentle work of shelter. No need to be busy. No need to be seen. The rainforest has already made space. And tonight, your room can do the same for you. If you listen closely, you may notice how rhythmic sound helps your mind stop scanning. A pattern tells the nervous system, you can relax, you can stop checking. Nothing needs your attention. So let the rain's whisper become part of your breathing, in and out. Imagine each inhale as a droplet gathering at the tip of a leaf. Imagine each exhale as the droplet letting go, sliding away, disappearing into moss. Thoughts may still come, but they can come like rain too. A thought lands, makes a tiny ripple, then fades. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to explain it. It's just a drop passing through the canopy of your mind. There's a tiny humor in the rainforest's attitude about rain. It treats it like background ambience, like an automatic sound machine that turns on when the night wants to feel extra cozy. Humans pay for apps to do this. The forest just does it. And you can let it do it for you now, even in imagination. Whispering, settling, quieting. Rain learns to whisper. Leaves learn to hold. The world grows soft enough for sleep to feel easy. Somewhere high in the canopy, there is a pocket of darkness shaped like a small room. It might be a tangle of vines that loop and overlap. It might be a cluster of leaves that folds inward. It might be a hollow tucked behind a curtain of branches. From the outside, it looks like nothing special, just more rainforest. But inside, the air feels steadier. Sound arrives softer. The night becomes gentler, as if the leaves are politely blocking out anything too loud. This is where the Pygmy Marmosets rest, not in a grand nest with a dramatic design, more like a quiet nook, nature's version of "this corner feels cozy." The monkeys gather close, tiny bodies becoming warmer together, fur blending into one soft shape. Their breathing settles. Their movement becomes minimal, like the forest is lowering the lights inside them too. There's something deeply comforting about imagining that pocket of dark. It isn't empty. It is filled with warmth and closeness and slow, steady breath. And the rainforest holds it without demanding anything. No performance, no proving, no earning rest, just rest. If you listen closely enough to feel rather than hear, you can almost sense the canopy's steady protection. Leaves overlap like layered blankets. Vines hold the shape of the shelter. Bark offers support for tiny hands. Everything becomes a gentle architecture of safety. And yes, there's an almost inaudible humor in how committed these little monkeys are to bedtime. Tiny monkeys, big dedication to being tucked in. If cozy were a sport, this would be an Olympic-level team event. Very quiet, of course. No cheering. Now let that shelter become a metaphor for your own rest. Let your bed be your pocket of dark. Let your blanket be your leaf layers. Let your room be your vine knot. Quiet, enclosed, calm, in and out. If your mind tries to wander, you can guide it back as gently as a hand tucks a blanket edge. Not forcefully, just kindly. Back to breath, back to softness, back to the feeling of being held. Drifting, settling, quieting. This is not a story you need to follow with effort now. It can fade into the background like rain behind leaves. You can let the images become dimmer and softer, the way the canopy makes everything dimmer and softer inside its pocket of dark. And sleep can arrive the same way those marmosets rest, quietly, naturally, with no need to do anything except let go. Now we move into the simplest part of the night, where facts become fewer and comfort becomes the main language. Imagine the marmosets again, tucked close in their hidden shelter. A small circle of warmth, tiny bodies curled inward, soft fur pressed together, breathing slow and steady like a gentle tide. The rainforest around them keeps its quiet watch. Leaves hold their shape. Vines remain still. The air stays warm and humid, like a blanket that never slips off. The stream below continues its hush, steady enough to be forgotten, steady enough to be trusted. Everything feels safe enough to stop paying attention, and you can stop paying attention too. In and out. Let your breath become smaller, not forced, just quieter, as if you're breathing from a deeper place. Let your shoulders sink. Let your jaw soften. Let the space behind your eyes feel heavier, darker, calmer. If a thought appears, it can be allowed to pass through without leaving footprints. The rainforest doesn't hold on to every sound. It lets sounds rise and fade. You can do the same with your mind. Allow, release, drift. There's a gentle comfort in the idea that warmth gathers when you stop scattering it. The marmosets gather warmth by staying close. You can gather warmth by staying still, by letting your body settle fully into the bed, by letting your muscles unclench and return their energy to you. In and out. The room grows quieter, or perhaps it stays the same, and you simply notice it less. The story becomes softer, like fog on leaves. The images blur gently at the edges, warmth in a small circle. That's the feeling now. And there's one last tiny smile you can let arrive and fade. The rainforest is enormous, complicated, endlessly alive, and one of its most successful strategies is still just be small, be close, be cozy. It's almost suspiciously simple, but it works. So let it work for you too. Drifting, settling, loosening. You don't need to chase sleep. You don't need to do anything right. You only need to remain here in warmth, in breath, in quiet. And as you remain, sleep can arrive naturally. Like darkness deepening under leaves, like rain softening into a whisper, like the canopy becoming still. The canopy becomes still in the way a room becomes still after everyone has fallen asleep. Not silent, just softened. The insects keep their faint pulse, but it feels farther away. The stream continues, but it sounds more like a distant memory than a present sound. Even the air feels calmer, like it has stopped moving just to be kind. Leaves hold their positions. Vines hang without sway. Fog, if it's there, rests low and steady, as if it has decided to stay. Somewhere in that stillness, the Pygmy Marmosets remain tucked away, breathing slow and small in their pocket of dark. Nothing about them needs attention now. They have done what they needed to do. Find warmth, find shelter, settle into the night. And you can do the same. In and out. Let your body feel heavier, the way a blanket feels heavier when it finally warms. Let your hands relax into their resting shape. Let your face soften, like muscles remembering they don't need to hold expressions while you sleep. If your mind offers a thought, treat it like a leaf shifting slightly in a breeze, then returning to stillness. No argument, no commentary, just, oh, and then quiet again. The rainforest has a beautiful way of letting everything be present without demanding focus. It holds life gently, and then it lets it fade into background softness when rest arrives. There's almost no humor left now, only the tiniest lullaby smile, like a warm ember. Imagine a pygmy marmoset, impossibly small, taking sleep incredibly seriously, like it's a job. Yes, it would whisper, "I am currently busy being asleep," and then it would simply be in and out. The canopy goes still. Your mind can go still too, not by force, but by gradual easing, like a ripple smoothing out when no one touches the water, like rain pausing between drops, like fog settling into place, drifting, settling, quieting. Let the story blur. Let the images soften. Let the sound of your own breathing become the only steady thing you follow. The rainforest continues, gentle and vast, making space for tiny lives. And tonight, it makes space for you to rest, completely, quietly, and without needing to be anything except sleepy. Now the night becomes simple enough to repeat itself. Water, leaves, breath, bark, vines, warmth, sap, shadows, quiet. These are the same gentle motifs we've been carrying all along. And now they return like familiar lullaby lines. Nothing new to learn, nothing new to hold. Just the comfort of repetition, the kind that tells the mind, you can stop searching. Somewhere high in the canopy, the Pygmy Marmosets remain tucked in their vine-knot shelter. Their world has narrowed to the essentials: closeness, warmth, stillness, slow breathing. The rainforest around them continues its soft work, holding air, holding moisture, holding the shape of leaves like a protective roof. And you, here, can narrow your world too. Let it become small and gentle. Let it become the feeling of your bed beneath you, steady and supportive. Let it become the weight of your blanket, warm and familiar. Let it become the simple rhythm of breathing, nothing to fix, nothing to perfect. In and out. If thoughts come, let them come as repetitions too. Harmless loops that don't need your attention. A thought appears, then fades. Another appears, then fades. Like the same rain pattern tapping lightly and then stopping. Like insects humming the same soft line until you barely notice it. Soft repetition is nature's way of easing the mind. The rainforest repeats. Leaf overlaps leaf. Rain returns. Sap gathers. Warmth holds. Darkness deepens. And somehow, in that repetition, rest becomes easier. There's a tiny, cozy humor you can let rise and fall here. The rainforest is incredibly complex, and its bedtime advice is still basically, repeat the calm stuff. It's like the entire ecosystem is saying, have you tried doing less? And honestly, the ecosystem has a point. So do less. Let your shoulders drop again, even if they already dropped. Let your jaw soften again, even if it already softened. Let your eyes rest heavier, even if they already feel heavy. Because repetition doesn't mean you're not progressing. Repetition is the path, in and out, water, leaves, breath. And if you can't picture the rainforest anymore, that's fine. You don't have to hold images. You can let the story become a background blur, like moonlight behind fog. What matters is the feeling, the night making space, small lives resting, softness repeating until it becomes sleep, drifting, settling, quieting, and the repetition continues, gently, until you don't need to follow it at all. The last light in the canopy becomes thinner now, like a pale ribbon stretched across leaves, and then slowly allowed to loosen. Shadows soften into one another. shapes become less defined. The rainforest looks less like a collection of objects and more like a single, quiet presence. If moonlight filters through, it does so faintly, just enough to make leaf edges glow for a moment, then dim again. The stream below keeps murmuring, but it feels farther away, as if the sound is traveling through layers of soft fabric. The world is still here. It's just quieter, and somewhere in a tucked pocket of vines, the pygmy marmosets remain at rest, tiny, warm, and unbothered. Their breathing continues, steady and small, like the rainforest's own gentle pulse. You can follow that steadiness, in and out. Let your breathing slow, or let it remain steady. Either way is fine. Sleep doesn't demand a perfect rhythm. It only asks that you stop trying to control everything. The mind often treats night like a test. Am I asleep yet? Why am I still awake? But the rainforest doesn't test itself. It simply deepens into darkness. It doesn't judge the pace of dusk. It allows it. So allow. If a thought comes, let it be faint, like a distant call in the canopy, and then let it fade. If a sound in your room appears, let it be part of the night, not an interruption. Everything can belong without needing your attention. In and out. The last light thins. The edges of your awareness can thin too, not disappearing, just loosening. Like fog smoothing a river surface, like rain turning from taps to whispers, like a blanket settling into place when you stop adjusting it. There is almost nothing to do now. And that is the point. If you find yourself holding your day in your mind, faces, tasks, conversations, you can let those images dim, as if someone is gently lowering the brightness on a screen. You don't have to push them away. You can simply stop feeding them with attention, drifting, settling, quieting. The rainforest continues its calm cycle without asking you to witness it. Tiny lives sleep, leaves hold stillness, water moves softly, warmth gathers in sheltered pockets, and you, here, can let the night gather you too. The last light thins. Sleep comes closer, not as an event, but as a gradual softening, until the line between listening and dreaming becomes gentle, blurry, and finally, unnecessary. Now the rainforest is mostly hush, not empty, just softened into its deepest nighttime shape. The canopy holds darkness like a warm cloth. The stream continues its low, steady murmur, as if it has been breathing the whole time and never expected applause. The air remains humid and calm, carrying the faint scent of bark and leaves and the quiet sweetness of sap beneath the surface of things. Somewhere high above, the pygmy marmosets are still sleeping in their pocket of vines, tiny bodies gathered close, warmth held in a small circle. Their world is simple now. Shelter, closeness, breath. Nothing else needs to be managed. Nothing needs to be solved. And your world can be simple too. In and out. Let your body sink into the bed as if the bed is gently making space for you, exactly the way the rainforest makes space for small lives. Let your muscles release their last little grips. Let your thoughts become fewer, softer, less interested in explaining themselves. If any thought remains, let it be a quiet one, something small, something safe, like the feeling of leaves overlapping above you, like the memory of warm air in the canopy, like a tiny monkey resting without a single concern for productivity. And yes, if you catch the faintest humor in that, it can be the last little ember before sleep. The world's smallest monkey is out here living the coziest night routine, and meanwhile, humans are often lying awake thinking about emails. The rainforest, respectfully, does not understand our hobbies. So let go of those hobbies tonight. You do not need to plan. You do not need to replay. You do not need to perform calm. You only need to rest in the motion of breath, in and out. Let the story fade now. Let the rainforest become a soft background presence, like fog you can feel but don't need to see. Let your attention drift downward, away from thought, into heaviness, into warmth, into that gentle place where sleep begins. And as we close, we keep the final lines exactly as they are, simple, quiet, and steady as water moving through leaves. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion.